Welcome to episode 140 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name's Trent. As always, I'm joined by Jason.
Hello.
I just pointed at you like people could see that. Wow.
That's okay. That's okay.
I do that. I motion with my hands when I talk
right.
on these things.
You could be Italian. We don't know.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll find out.
Yeah.
But until we find out.
Go to Ancestry.com.
Okay, I'll do that. You ruined my segue.
Damn it. Oh, well.
We've got Sprout from Screaming Red Mutiny back on this podcast.
Again.
And he's been on here. This will be the third time. And this is the longest one of the three.
Yes.
I think the first one was pretty lengthy, but this one's almost an hour and a half, so it's pretty good talk about everything that's going on with him musically and even some other stuff.
Yeah, we talked about tacos, football, Tulsa music scene, Wichita music scene. We talked about so much. It was great.
Yeah, we're going to get into that here shortly. Another thing we talked about that we were going to talk about anyway on one of these coming episodes was the new Living Colour album, Shade.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Which I guess we don't really need to talk about now because...
Yeah, we went into it. I mean,
we could talk a little more about it, but this is probably good enough.
Yeah.
So, towards the end of this interview with Sprout, we talk about this album that if you're a fan, have ever been a fan of Living Colour, if you just like good quality hard rock and roll...
That's right.
This is a great album.
It really is. YouTube, they just were on Seth Meyers. YouTube that because this was a really good performance. Come on, yeah, and they did a great job. So go check that out. It's awesome.
Yeah, Shade is the new album from them. Well, coming up this week, this is Monday. I think it's tomorrow night. The Normandies are opening up for Blink-182.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So proud of those guys.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably said on this podcast before that I'm not a fan of Blink-182, but that's irrelevant because I'm a huge fan of the Normandies. And an opportunity like that when you're playing, not just opening for any national band, but doing it at a place like the Brady Theater.
Yeah.
When you know the place is going to be filled up. And not only that, it's just I would assume, a great place to play as a musician.
Has to be.
Because as a fan, it's one of the best places you can hear a live show.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all for opportunities and all for, these bands of this caliber, getting the breaks that they need to get. And this is one of them. It's just, it's awesome.
Yeah. Really excited for the Normandies because they're a great punk band out of the Tulsa area that more people need to hear. And in fact, they've been on here before.
Yes, they have. And now more people will hear them.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
Yeah. So look up the Normandies. Follow them on Facebook. Listen to their stuff. Find the episode that they were on here with us. They played an acoustic performance right here on this episode.
They sure did.
Or this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, and then later this week, we've got September 23rd in Oklahoma City is the finals of the Battle for Catfest. And there's 6 bands. We've got Less Than Human, God in the Machine, Among the Missing, 3 other bands going to kick this thing into high gear at the Diamond Ballroom. And the winner gets to get on stage before Korn, Avatar, Gemini Syndrome, and Chevelle. So that's another huge opportunity for one of these guys.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. And that show is October 1st. The show they're trying to get on is October 1st at the Zoo Amphitheater in Oklahoma City. Catfest, Korn, and all those bands. So if you're in Oklahoma City, check that out. And then Tulsa, September 23rd at Badass Renee's. Through the Stone is returning with Crane Technique, Claim Your Enemy, and Sovereign Dame.
This is going to be a barn burner of a show.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Just all 4 bands. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I saw Sovereign Dame once, and I'm super excited to see him again because it was just so different than what else is going on around here. For most part, it's like bluesy, but it's still heavy. It's really cool. And of course, Crane Technique and Claim Your Enemy, we've seen multiple times. Love those guys. And then Through the Stone, I'm glad I finally get to see these guys.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to check it out.
Yeah. That's another album to go check out if you have not. Through the Stone. Great stuff. But hey, speaking of great stuff, Screaming Red Mutiny. They've been going strong now for a couple years.
Yeah.
Sprout's here to talk about all that stuff, and he's got this solo venture he's working on as well. He's heading out to California actually this week for this audition that he's talking about, singer-songwriter stuff, and You know, he actually played one of these songs for us, or a couple songs.
Yeah, it was
while we
great.
were there.
Yeah, we were privileged to hear it. That's for sure.
Yeah, what'd you think of the? Well, on another note, he played
Oh man,
the Screaming Red Mutiny, their next single.
Yeah.
Which is going to be coming out in the next few weeks. He played us that, and that thing was, if you've heard their first EP, you're absolutely going to love this.
Oh yeah, rips your face off.
Yeah. But then we got to hear a couple of his songs with just him and guitar and piano and strings and stuff. So, what were your thoughts on that?
That's great. I mean, he's really working on some stuff. He's talented as hell. We knew that. I mean, he's doing all the stuff by himself. You know, and it was just, it was cool to hear. I mean, it was a lot mellower than Screaming Red Mutiny, but that's great. That just shows, you know, more sides of what he can do.
Yeah, and he's got a great voice that can go both ways. You know, it's great for heavy music, and it's great for this mellow stuff. You know, he's just got a deep voice that really resonates with what he's trying to do. Like Coulter Wall. I don't know. Throw that in there for you.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can get that deep.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
We don't need to waste too much time on him, but if Google that guy, it's insane.
Yeah, this is a rock podcast, but this guy's a country guy. And, you know, we both admittedly like old country and new country that's good.
Yes.
And Coulter Wall's like 22. And Jason kind of turned me on to him recently, and
he sounds like he's like 72.
Yeah.
He's got a real deep, gruff voice, and you can't see that coming out of that guy, but it does. And, you know, if you're really depressed on a rainy day, put on some Coulter Wall and you'll get more depressed. But that's a good thing. That's just shows the mood of his music. But anyways, yeah, deep voice. Totally. Crazy.
Well, if this is your first time listening, of course we appreciate it. If you're a fan of Sprout, go back. Episode 17 was the first time we sat down and talked to him, and that was actually in the final days of him being in Kingshifter.
Yes.
And then the next time was episode 48 with the entire Screaming Red Mutiny band, and it was the original lineup. John Halata and Mike Starkey were in on that as well.
Yeah.
With Sprout and Tony. And then now, in this coming episode, Sprout talks a lot about what Nick and Jim Bob brought to this band as well. So, check out those 2 episodes. Go back into our back catalog on soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground, TheThunderUnderground.com, and follow us on Facebook. And, of course, follow Screaming Red Mutiny as well. Well, let's get into this. This is Sprout from Screaming Red Mutiny.
Lineup. We've written some new tunes. They're way different from what we started out with as far as the style. We wanted to progressively get heavier, and that we did. And so we've got 6, almost 7 new songs for a new EP. And we're planning on recording that here early October.
Are you doing it with Kyle again?
Yes. He's the man, dude. He's the man. I'm like, man, Kyle has a way with working with music and melodies and notes. I like what he hears. When you finally get what you've done back from him, you definitely know you're working with the goods. So Kyle's a cool guy to work with.
And you said it's kind of going in a heavier direction.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
It's funny because a lot of people's idea of heavier would have to be screaming and all this other good stuff. Well, musically, we wanted to get a little heavier. I can still get my point across vocally and aggressively, but kids, you're going to get older, and if you don't have any actual singing skills, you're probably going to be screaming. Be careful, that takes technique too, or your voice will be trashed. I'm just not so old and angry anymore. Or young and angry, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be old and angry here in a minute. No, but the direction we took off in, it's a good one. Nick, he's the young guy in the band, and the guitar is his primary instrument. he's a jazz guy, so he's going to be playing chords and notes I'm obviously going to love. I'm a jazz nut.
Yeah.
Tony likes some jazz and fusion, so we're really into that type of sound from the chording. And if anybody has listened to jazz guitar and jazz anything, when you hear this new record, you're going to hear certain chords being played. It's like, wow, that rings, or boy, that sounds dissonant but fits.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your typical, heavy music.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that can open up all kinds of stuff and take you down a whole different road. And
of course,
yeah.
We don't get together in hopes of sounding different, but I guess every song has a life of its own.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to nurture that. The songs are more temperamental than people actually think, especially when you're in the process of writing them. Everybody's got their little hang-ups of what they want things to sound like or be. But sometimes, just like nature, the song ain't gonna let you do that.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's got a problem.
Yeah.
But man, Nick, he brings the knowledge of newer, heavier music that Tony and I, being older musicians, have kept up with.
Yeah.
A lot of the problems with older musicians, they're still stuck in 92, 93, 94, 95. They want to talk about these damn kids. Well, when I was coming up, we did music so we could get laid. These kids these days, they're doing music to get good. I mean, they are really doing the thing, man. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be the old codger in that circle,
Well, last time we saw you was at show in Fort Smith, I think in June.
Yes.
And I noticed the newer songs you guys play were heavier, and we were talking to Tony afterwards, and he said this isn't even the heaviest thing we've got.
No.
Which is kind of exciting to hear, but also surprising, because I can't remember the name of it, but one of those songs was heavy as hell, I thought, So it's kind of cool to see what you guys are about to do, but is it something you guys were thinking about previously, or is it this?
Yes.
Is this all
Screaming Red Mutiny, when we first started, all we wanted to do was something that we haven't done before personally. Something that was different, We didn't really sit around like, well, we want to sound like this. And I've been listening to these guys being influenced. Let's see where this goes. No, we really treated ourselves as an experiment until we figured out we weren't an experiment anymore. And so we're always open and creative with our processes. And so that definitely helps out a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you said you wanted to go in this direction and it worked, but because it was something new, but it didn't sound like you guys were trying too hard. It was organic, and that doesn't happen a lot. That was really cool.
Well, there's a lot of heavy influence, especially with us all. I mean, that's just going to come out. We're probably never going to shy away from that. We're just all into heavy groove, and we just want to bring something different to the table, as in, okay, well, let's just take a look at what these guys are doing. Maybe there's more singing here. Musically, we're trying to advance a little more. We're also trying to make things, keep things simple as well. We don't want to go off the deep end and all of a sudden people listen to a record like, what is this? I think people got that response out of the Deftones Gore record. I thought that record was dope, but some people are like, I don't know about this. But I'd love to get Stephen Carpenter drunk one day and find out what he really thinks about it.
He didn't like it though.
No, he said that. But I want him to let go of his anger.
Yeah.
Let go of his his hate toward.
He was always real reserved in interviews and stuff, but you could tell he didn't like it.
He's like, well, I went in there and did my job, drank some beer, went home. I don't know why I was there. That's the vibe I got from him when I was reading. I was like, oh, so it's going to be dope anyway? Great.
Awesome.
Because sometimes you can't even trust the artist when they say something like, I remember listening to the one and only 9 Inch Nails live record. Like, he was so excited to do it, and he did it, and then he was like, man, this is great stuff. Then later on, he's like, oh, I was sick that entire tour. This is not 9 Inch Nails at its best. It's like, fool, that shit was good, dude. That was awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, every time an album comes out, it's our best album or our most mature, and then years later you get the truth from them,
Yeah.
Right,
or what they really think. I mean,
yeah, I had the sniffles when I was doing vocals on that. That's why I didn't feel like. Come on, I mean, give me a break. You did good. Just take it. People bought it,
Yeah.
right.
People bought the record.
Well, you mentioned what Nick's brought to the band.
Mm-hmm.
What about Jim Bob?
Oh man, Jim Bob has definitely brought. He's brought his full circle being in the pocket the way he is. That guy, much like John's primary art was not metal. It was primarily blues and rock leaning toward that direction. Jim Bob, he's played a lot of like gigs and tours with songwriters. He was really learning the metal stuff, and he's picked up on it pretty well.
Yeah.
Very well. He's just getting better and better. And Nick and Jim Bob's personalities just really blend in well with ours, man. They're good people to have around. I remember before the last road trip, Jim Bob goes, "I'm glad I'm on the road with people I don't want to kill."
Yeah.
And I was like, man, give me 3 years. You might, if you like me after 3 years, man, we're going to be good,
Yeah. Well, I remember when you guys put up the video about, what you need to be our bass player and all this kind of stuff. And, I mean, was he, did he come about pretty quick, or did you really have to go through a few of them to get that fit?
Jim Bob was originally our first choice to be the bassist of Screaming Red Mutiny before Mike Starkey came aboard.
Oh, okay.
And I had met Jim Bob a few times before then, and I've also played with the band he was in, Anew, at the time. And so I already knew about the guy. I knew he could play. I guess at that point in time, there was some stuff coming up, some family stuff going on to where he couldn't join us. And so Mike came in and, he got us going. And but once he came back, it was almost like the dude we wanted to be there finally came home,
Yeah.
He's a really good dude. And Mike Starkey, he's still a hell of a guy too, man. He's still a hell of a bassist. And man, we love that guy. We've just made nothing but family in this band.
Yeah.
And Jim Bob fit all the criteria. Nick fit all the criteria. Nick's 22, 23 years old. He's not caring too much about, any real adult stuff. Let's just play some music. And I'm still like that even at 38.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work this day job because I got to. That's how life for musicians are.
Yeah.
Well, having a band and having songs in place whenever Nick and then Jim Bob came in, was it an easy transition for you and Tony?
Yes.
I mean, outside of the obvious thing with John being gone, but I mean,
right.
The playing transition easy? It
really was. Because, one thing Tony and I do have is patience. We were pretty patient about what's going on, and we didn't want to rush anything. We didn't want to force anything. So we just really took our time and was really patient. And there was a point in time that, Tony really didn't have a chance to grieve. And there was a time where I was still grieving.
Yeah.
So we just did what we had to do, and everything came together, and everybody was really knowledgeable on the situation and the environment. It lightened up after a little bit. It's like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how we're going to go on, and we're happy with that.
Yeah.
So
good.
So do you have a timetable on recording and getting this EP out?
We're going back into the studio late September, early October for sure.
Okay.
No later than October 7th. I think that's the date slotted to actually finish the rest of the record. We're in the process of about to film a music video. Nice. We're going to release the single and the music video at the same time. We signed a distribution deal with Mugen. Yes, I said it right. Mugen, right? He's like, Ryan and Brandon, like, I always try my best to say that right. I was like, man, if I've signed to this label, I might as well say their damn name right. They're like, Mugen! I sat there in the mirror, practicing Mugen. Like
I've heard Dale and CJ say Mugen, so I didn't know.
That's what I've always said in my head.
First time I ever heard that name, Mugen, I thought it was Mugen, but I was drunk, so I thought somebody said mutagen. I'm like, who's got fucking turtles around here? Like, what the hell?
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I know. I would have been drunk and confronted by some swollen turtle who I got his name wrong. You know?
Well, that's something we've kind of forgot to put on our list. Talk about that deal and how it came about.
Well, Tony and Ryan had been talking a little bit, and I've always liked Ryan. I've always liked what he was doing. He's handling business. There ain't too many people that want to make music a business.
Yeah.
And it makes it tough because, any investor outside of the music biz that would be curious as to what goes on, Ryan would be a good example to look at. He's on top of his game. He's new and he's growing just like we're growing. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to be in a situation where we can grow together. I know we work hard. I know that cat works hard too. So only good things can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, the Sony Orchard deal, it was a blessing to me. I mean, this is the second time I've been on a label with Sony behind it or had a deal with Sony behind it.
Yeah.
That's very rare for a lot of people who have been in music, but then, let's go further. Let's go further. Let's see how far this rocket ship will go.
Yeah.
Well, is this like a deal for like a release by release type thing, or?
For the most part, yes. We're going to release the EP, and we're gonna do our damnedest to get picked up by radio stations. A lot of festivals. I do all the booking for the band, so I've been getting a lot of messages and calls for touring all over the place. And I said, well, once we're ready, we will announce we're ready. And we'll get things going. I remember being in King Shifter. There was so much we had to do, right? And there was just so many places we had to be,
Yeah.
We wanted to go back home and write another record, but man, the road calls. And we love the road. But this time around here in Screaming Red Mutiny, we're going to no, we're not going to play any gigs. We're going to get this done, and then we're going to go out there and, play you guys the new music.
Good.
So who's doing this music video for you?
His name is Lyndon, and I met Lyndon for the first time. He just got back from Japan. He'd been over there for a while eating ramen. We had tacos later on after a while, and he was telling me about his. We were talking about his visit to Japan, and we went to the location. The location's in Wagner.
Okay.
And man, it's a pretty cool place. A lot of stuff you can do. The big costume closets, and we could have access and use of anything in here, and it's just a great place to make a music video. It's in an old storefront, there's a storefront in the bottom, and you go up a couple of floors, and there's this nice big area. I mean, just cool stuff to do things live and, do your narrative, and really cool. And right across the street from that building is, I guess there's a drugstore that burned down, and there's a lot of destruction. We may have access to use that for the shoot as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I mean, and I checked out Lyndon's work. Man, it's great because I've seen some crappy music videos.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been in music videos that weren't so great, so I'm really excited for this.
So you guys letting him handle the narrative and everything? Or you guys?
The narrative is basically going by the song.
Okay.
The song is the narrative mostly.
Okay.
We've already been sitting down and planning sessions, stuff like that. We're just sitting there drinking shots. All right, Sprout, what we're going to do is we're going to have you explode and your guts all over people. Like, no, that won't work. You're important. No, it was nothing like that. But we were going through, different ideas, and, man, I wish I could talk about some of these things because they're pretty rad, but we're going to wait till y'all see it.
Understand.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun being involved in it. I've never really been involved in a music video shoot, being a part of the planning of it, and what do you think, Sprout? Like, I don't hold a camera. That's what I think. That would have been me like 5 years ago. You just tell me where to stand and sing and act, and I'll do those things. But don't ask me what I think. No, this has been fun. The creative part has been fun.
Cool.
You know, it's your music. Be in on it. You regret it if you don't. I've heard so many stories from musicians that do regret not speaking up and being like, oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just like you said, there's a ton of bad videos out there. And we can spot them. We can spot them.
Yeah, Lyndon's rad. Lyndon Alvarez, I believe his name is.
Cool.
He's gonna do a good job.
Well, you said you had 6 or 7 songs. Is this, are these all songs that were written with Nick and Jim Bob in the band, or any of previous songs that have been around?
There are going to be 5 new songs written by Nick.
Okay.
Now, the first EP, me and John pretty much were principal songwriters, and we all had, like, hand in arranging things. You know, that's how that worked. The single that's going to be released, musically, I wrote. It was played a little bit before John passed away. The song is called Iron Disposition. And so that's going to be our single coming out for that. Haven't quite decided on a name for the EP yet,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I got a couple I'm kicking around.
Don't tell us. Keep them to yourself.
I know. That's the part I hate the most. Hell yeah, I want to tell you. I want to tell all of you, you know? It's like, oh.
Nice.
The suspense, it's like watching the cat hang over the blender without somebody putting them in, you know? It's just the suspense.
Right.
Oh,
Put the lid on that thing, you're going to get cat all over the ceiling. Cat all over the ceiling.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
You're just, cat everywhere.
Well, let's talk about this stuff you've been working on. You've been posting about it on Facebook the last few weeks and kind of alluding to what you got going on. But what is it that you're?
Yeah, tell us
what is it that you're getting ready to?
I have a audition with Sony Epic Records as a singer-songwriter. This story is actually quite interesting as well as bittersweet for me, because when I was approached by representatives, they were looking at me and John Halata.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they got a hold of me, John Halata had passed.
Mm-hmm.
So John would definitely be right next to me right now,
Mm-hmm.
had he still, been alive. But I did something back in the day. They had these things called label showcases. Mm-hmm. And a label showcase was basically a show that some indie label put on and invites a whole bunch of representatives from major labels and maybe higher up indie labels. And they sit at this table and they watch you. And they critique you. They look at your work, your look. They critique your music. They look at everything. They ask you questions. Bands pay upwards to $1,000 for a slot on some of these showcase shows. Well, now, because of the internet and live streaming, you don't have to get a venue anymore. You don't have to do all that. You can have a label showcase, but the panel will be sitting wherever they're sitting in their house. And you'll be streaming yourself. Well, I stream myself in a showcase. I put my little $30 to $40 in there, They can't charge you an arm and a leg if you're not going to be there personally. Yeah. So, I didn't even, the representatives, I didn't even know who they were. I recognized some of the indie labels, though. They were cool. Yeah. Didn't really talk to anyone. I played my 2 songs. I did an original called Stones, and then I played Richie Havens' Freedom.
Yeah, wow.
And a week later, I got a message from a representative from Sony Epic, and that's what that was.
Wow.
And I've been working on getting things set up for this for the last few months. Yeah. And it's been pretty rewarding. A lot of people don't even know that I can do some of these things. A lot of people, they don't even know I can play a piano. They don't know I can play guitar a little bit. They don't know that, I can do these other things. I remember joining bands a long time ago. Hey guys, I can do this. No, don't even worry about it. Don't worry. No, we like you holding a microphone. Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'm involved in music. I mean, I'm not going to complain. Things are going great, Mm-hmm. But I've always loved the opportunity to create. And when I lived back home in Wichita, I would play at this little bar called The Studio. It used to be called Kara's. And I would be there, and I would have this open jam every Sunday. So there's people hanging out all over the place with guitars and singing and playing, and mm-hmm. I'd be among those people. Yes, I can do any type of bluegrass you want. I can play, I can sing, I can perform, I can write. They just think I'm just another big black metal guy with a microphone that can scream. No, I can do much, much more. I can paint houses. I can make juice. I'm an accomplished coffee maker. All right? Accomplished. Can't nobody make coffee like I make coffee.
Hell yes.
So have you been writing stuff like this for a long time? Or
a long time. Not honestly, I don't really go out too much. I did for a minute, but after I moved here, but not very much. So a lot of people don't really know what I've done since I'm not from here. Yeah. I'm relatively still very new to this scene.
Right.
And, I don't know a whole bunch of people very, very well to, maybe except Steve Ray. I can call that cat up. Man, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Well, that cat's my dog. He'll shoot it to me straight, if I got an idea. He's like, I don't know about that. Sleep on that one. Like, all right, maybe I should do that. I'll save the 40 winks for something a little bit more constructive or something, But I've always wanted to go out and play acoustic sets and see what happens. I mean, it's something different for me. As long as I'm making music and creating music, and I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, you and John did that a few times, right?
Yeah, and since John died, I really haven't wanted to go out and do it. But, it's about time for me to go out there and do it. Today, actually this morning, I booked a gig at All American Grill in Pryor. Damian Lee, we have been corresponding a little bit, and I was like, man, I'm ready to come back and play some acoustic shows. And it was always fun, like playing at a steakhouse. I'm a metal guy, so I'm expecting sexy metal babes with cleavage hanging out and sweating, bleeding dudes in a mosh pit. So here I am sitting with these good, decent folks while they're eating steak. I'm singing all pretty and stuff. I'm like, man, I can get used to this. Nobody's sweating on me. It was great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. But no, just to have that opportunity to go out there and play with John like that and have fun and, a little steak involved too. Still American Grill Steakhouse, man. You gotta have a steak with you there. But we played there a few times together, and I'm gonna start hitting up some of the bars. I'm definitely gonna hit the road, man. Yeah. I've been really eager to do that with this stuff for a long time now. Yeah. A lot of people have wanted to see this that actually know what I do. They wanted to see this out of me for a long time, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah. Give it a shot, regardless what happens. When I leave town or whatnot to California and come back, I'm still gonna plan on going for it.
Yeah.
I don't half-ass anything. When I do well, God damn it, I do well. Right. When I fuck up, the sky is falling down. Take that shit to the bank. Yes. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. Not a lot of times in my life where I felt this confident to go out there and attempt to do multiple things like this, because I do want to make music my life in some way. Mm-hmm. If I can make it help pay the bills, that'd be great too. Yeah. But shit, I don't expect anything like that either.
Yeah.
No. If I can get like some new shoes, I'll be okay. I need shoes bad. So I'm instead of shoes, I've been buying studio equipment.
I've all been there.
Man, I haven't even got a haircut or shade. Normally, I got my fade going, and now I got these little BB bucks. Looks like black taco meat on the side of my head. Look at that, man. I'm looking terrible right now. I've been in this room, man. I haven't been out there. Looking terrible.
Well, that's got to be quite two ends of the spectrum, with Screaming Red Mutiny, and then you come in here and just kind of do your own thing. I mean, is there more pressure, or, what's kind of the difference to you?
I have a lot of support from my band.
Okay.
A lot of it. And they're really happy for me and the opportunity that's happening. And, if there's anything I could do to help keep going with Screaming Red Mutiny, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Man, this isn't stopping at all. I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
Nick is also in another band. And maybe he got something else going on too, but he wants to make music his life. Tony's about to have another kid. So, he ain't trying to take on those side projects. And Jim Bob, he still does this thing with the David Castro band from time to time. Yeah. And I don't think Anu is officially broken up or whatever, but I'm pretty sure if they decide to get back together and play a show, it's all good. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're all musicians. We're going to play.
Yeah.
We're gonna live our lives the way we want to with music, and I'm just glad we're all dedicated to each other and what we're doing enough to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So, say you go to California and this thing goes great.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming Red Mutiny, is that still your priority, or is both these things an equal priority?
Well, that just depends on how much the bigger guy wants to interact with me.
Right.
Because I mean, this Screaming Red Mutiny is something that the four of us have absolute total control over. Mm. The deal may be I probably can't do anything else right now but that. Because of them being a major label, they may have that type of power. Well, they do have that type of power to exercise, but who knows what they want to do with me. Mm-hmm. That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not what's clear. I've heard stories of people going out to things and meetings with labels and A&R people like, we love your voice, but hey, we have these songs over here we'd like you to sing. Yeah. Or, we're going to give you the best record ever. Now you get to choose 19 from these 120 producers that we approve of, and then we'll see where that goes. You got songs? Great. These guys we hired rights. Bob, come here. Bring the songs. You're going to love these. I'm going to look at them like, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. I do want an opportunity to do my own music.
Yeah.
I've never sang a song anybody else wrote or handed to me so I could sing ever in my life,
Yeah.
I've been in a cover band, but that was different.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to make a record and a living. I mean, yeah, I'm singing this tragic song that some man wrote, but man, my life's tragic enough, man. Listen to this shit, Probably still just as good, man. I don't know. But a lot of the record industry is what you can retain control on. If you don't know what you're doing. I remember when this opportunity started, the first thing I did, because I've never been this far before, ever. The first thing I did was talk to people who have been there somewhat, I've talked to a man who was a radio DJ back home, who's definitely got the ends on knowing what's going on in the business from time to time. There's some cats that I grew up with in the scene, cut my teeth in Wichita, that have been out there. Chris Schlichting, he was the original vocalist of Seasons After. I can holler at that guy. Me and that guy, we're cool. Hey man, what do I need to look out for? Or what do I need to be leery of? And a lot of what's in a contract is not necessarily what's in the contract. It's the language of the contract. And people don't understand the difference.
Yeah.
And if you're in the business long enough and you get screwed over long enough, you're going to learn about language and contracts.
Yeah, so, they word it in a way
that,
it'll just totally screw you.
One thing I learned from Jamie Justa is don't sign a 360 deal.
Oh man, yeah, I've read about that too. I think I read about Jamie Justin.
He says that in like every episode of his podcast.
Don't sign a 360 deal. When the deal has an official name or catchphrase.
Beware.
Yes, buyer beware. You're going to love this. It's called the 360 deal.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to bring the right fist all the way back from South Texas and do a complete 360-degree turn and smack you in the face. That's the 360-degree deal in the record business.
That's where the name came from.
That's what it is. We love you. Oh, we can't push you properly.
Yeah.
But every band out there, they want that push, man. They want the marketing. They want to make sure they're being seen and heard.
Yeah.
And people do whatever they can, social media. I'm just glad I'm trying to go organic with it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do buy likes and buy views and things like that. Yeah. I remember being in King Shifter, and we just released 26 Tons, and we were in this we were participating in this band battle from some other town in Ohio. It was like they called it the cage match or something. So every night at 9 p.m. they would play a song from a band, and they would play a song from the previous night's winner.
Yeah.
We made it a week. We won for a straight week. And we looked up some of these bands that we were competing against. And I'm like, how's this band going to have like 30,000 fans and only 1,200 plays on their player? I'm like, yeah. I know y'all didn't get music yesterday. I mean, come on. Come on.
No kidding. Oh, man. We'll talk about, the stuff that you're writing. Are you doing anything different vocally? I mean, how's it different from Screaming Red Mutiny?
Vocally, it's a lot mellower. It's a lot prettier. There's I have to use just as much control singing as I do in Screaming Red Mutiny. It's more storytelling. It's more narrative. My style is pretty much between the realm of blues and old country.
Okay.
I like those particular styles. I think they fit my voice very well. But yes, I have had a life that only a blues man could cry into his beer can over. I mean, I swear I don't intentionally make myself suffer for material, but man, it just happens sometimes. It
comes out.
Yeah. But no, I really do like those. I do like that blend, but what I'm doing is I'm doing a little modern. Mm-hmm. The content's going to be a little modern. Some of the phrasing is going to be a little modern. You're not going to hear any pop country type stuff. It's still going to be grassroots style. Mm-hmm. That's what I didn't want. I didn't want to. I don't want to go out there and try singing to this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here's some auto. Have you ever heard an auto-tuned fiddle?
No, I don't.
It's one of the most fucked up thing I ever heard. I don't want to do that stuff either. You know.
Have you ever thrown anything out because it sounds too poppy or too this or too that, or just or is it like if it comes to you, then it's good and it's you and just do it?
There was one time that we were in the jam room, Screaming Red Mutiny, and John was alive, and we were jamming and writing a song, and we were playing this riff, and I think it was 10 minutes before any one of us wanted to stand there and admit, you know what, this shit sounds too happy. Even Tony was like, that sounds too happy.
Like, damn it, we can't do that.
Yeah, we immediately scrapped that. That's like the most recent occurrence of that. Yeah, it was a happy ass sounding riff.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
it was so happy. I remember what it sounded like. That's how happy it was.
Well, you should put it in your mix here.
Well, the stuff I'm writing isn't necessarily happy either.
Yeah, I think we covered that. Right. We went over that already.
There's a song I played. I went live a few weeks ago on Facebook, and I played a song I wrote called "Forward," and I read some responses from it, and a lot of people thought it was actually a country song. It's not. It's a love song that I wanted to sound like a funeral.
Yeah.
For real. My boy Ton was sitting here because he's been helping me learn a lot of this stuff. Because as many times I've been to a studio, I really haven't cared because I've been too busy smoking doobs and drinking beer to really care. Yeah. But now, no, I'm just kidding. It's always business. But I definitely didn't know the stuff I needed to know. So Ton has been helping me. Tony's been helping me out. He's a studio guy. He knows things. And so from there, I'm pretty much on my own. The training wheels are off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that song is a pretty good one. I recorded it and I threw some piano in there and some strings, you know. Whenever I get finished with the EP, I'll give you guys a copy. Do whatever with it, you know.
Nice.
Well, I think I saw you post something like you've written about 18 songs. Is that right?
Yes.
Like, how many of those are acoustic compared to piano driven, or both?
A lot of what I'm doing now is brand new as far as to the songs. Like, I didn't have all this fancy schmancy stuff before, so it was always my voice and a guitar. And it's allowed me to do things that I wouldn't been able to do, or hear my songs in a way I wouldn't have normally have heard them. And this is dumb. I got really drunk one night and I re-recorded a song like 8 times just to see how different I could make it sound.
Wow.
And boy, it wasn't like the spectrum was broad, man. Straight up, it was so broad. I was like, man, all of these sound good. 3 of them I would probably consider using.
Yeah.
You know, but just to have that freedom to play like that.
Yeah.
I think every songwriter should have like a small studio in their house, or not even the studio setup. There's plenty of recording devices. I mean, we're old school cats, man. Remember those old Tascam cassette things and 4 tracks? Oh
yeah.
Man, I used the shit out of one of them for years, man. It's now like, oh man, it's technology. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's like being in the Flintstones and having to pedal your car with your feet instead of, you know, those old Tascam things. But
yeah, that brings back memories.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, the quality was not there. Yeah. It's just never there.
We rented one for a weekend and did a demo on it. And it sounded crappy.
Was it an analog Tascam?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was eons ago, at least 20 years ago.
That's a Tascam, but obviously a way newer one.
Oh, well, yeah. They didn't come up since then.
Yeah, that thing sounds amazing. That thing's insane.
Well, so on your audition, how many of these songs are you going to get to perform? You have to...
I'm going to have... this is funny. It's another showcase put on by a label. So, as a featured artist, I don't have to go through all the red tape and crap. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to get about 10 minutes, which will be enough time for me to play about 4 songs. And I'm going to drink some beer, and then I'm going to talk to some Californians.
Yeah. Not
too long, though, because I don't want to start talking like them. I have to go back to Kansas every few months just so I don't start talking like people from Oklahoma. Now, see, in Kansas, we say y'all. We say y'all all the time, but y'all be like, y'all. Yeah. We're like, y'all, but y'all. There's a difference. There's a difference. I got out the car at Reese's one time. How y'all doing? I'm like, oh, shit. I said, y'all. The accent is weird, man.
Yep, you got to go back up there for a little bit.
Yep, just got 2 days. I'm back to normal. Go back home.
Nice.
How y'all motherfuckers doing? Y'all all right? All right. Great. Somebody said I had a Kansas accent once. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even know what that sounds like.
We sound like people from Ohio. I mean, if you ever been to Ohio, Kansas talk like them. I guess that's a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
But the further north you go, like, they're damn near Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some of the most coolest laid-back people, but you got to really pay attention to what they're saying, because you might as well be in another country if you're hanging out in Minnesota or, Wisconsin. Well, they're great, cool people, but you got to listen. You got to pay close attention to what they're saying. You're going to miss it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the first time we talked to you, it's been over a couple years ago now, and you had been here a while, but not real long.
Right.
So... now that you've been in the Tulsa scene for over a couple years, I mean, what are your thoughts on just everything, the way shit is right now, I guess?
Yeah, I'm all for the music scene, but I'm all for ruffling its feathers as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there is no progress, not without ruffling feathers, but there is no progress without dealing with real issues at hand.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, recently, in recent months anyway, OTEP showed up in the town, and people made a big deal about it. Now, I'm going to keep my feelings of OTEP to myself, because because I don't think I'm ever get a chance to, say what I need to say to her personally. Not that I have any beef with her at all, I don't. But when a town comes together, regardless of what they think or their stance, to work for the locals, they should shut the fuck up and let that shit happen. You had two groups working to support the locals, and they're going against each other. So I'm hearing, we have a solid, unified scene here. I'm like, look, if a t-shirt got sand in your pussy and you want to be all mad about it, it's a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Man, I handed Ryan $10 myself. I was like, man, I don't need a shirt. You make sure them cats get that money across town. Mm-hmm. We're going to do our thing here. We had already signed up to do the show that night at Billy and Renee's, not even knowing what was going to happen or not even knowing OTEP was going to be there. That show was booked before OTEP was even going to, be there.
Yeah.
I know my band didn't sit there and was like, okay, we got to do this for that. No, we were going to play a show whether OTEP was there or not. Mm. But people have problems with all that. And I'm just like, look, if you're down for the locals, be down for the locals. It doesn't matter who does what. Man, if there's something that somebody's doing that you don't like, ignore them. If you think I'm full of shit, ignore me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you have to say anything. It doesn't mean you have to do anything. I think a lot of what people say and do around here when it comes to talk about unity, there's no action. And let me be the first to say, I come from a unified scene out of Wichita, Kansas. It wasn't always like that because the venues had to work together. Promoters had to work together. Now we're so tight-knit, we know what bullshit sounds like. Kenny Ballinger, promoter out of Wichita, I saw a post today. He's always being blamed for quote-unquote ruining somebody's music career. Jesus, it ain't his fault the band sucks dick. You've got to bring people into your bar. You got to bring people into the place you're playing. You got to promote yourself. Just because you tell people in your band you're in a band doesn't necessarily mean that, people are going to come out and see you. There's so much work involved. I can't even begin to tell you how much work is involved when you want people to show up consistently. I'm pretty sure in this show, I've listened to so many of these podcasts where we talk about how people play here all the time. Well, now that's slowing down some. People are starting to get the picture. They're not playing in town as much. They're picking and choosing their, times and their battles and stuff like that. That's great too. But man, when it comes to unity, it goes beyond showing up to a show when you're not playing. It goes beyond that. It goes, what do you want as best for a whole? Now, once you get to a certain point, you stop caring about home so much. And that's when the outside world starts to beat you down. And that's when you should remember how awesome home is. I don't know how many Tulsa bands I've stood next to just listening, because I am a fly on the wall. These are bands that Tulsans come out and see on a regular basis. And I'm standing next to them, and they're like, man, fuck Tulsa. Fuck Tulsa. We need to get out of here. We need to do this. We need to do that. Can you help us, Sprout? I'm like, not if you're saying fuck your town you're living in. Are you serious? You need these people. You need Tulsa. You need your hometown, man. You're almost nothing without them. What good is a band anymore if they don't have the respect of their hometown? I'm not even from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but guess what? I'm proud to go from town to town, especially Texas, because they don't like Oklahomans. We're Screaming Red Mutiny from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'm not from here, but I'm proud to tell people we're from here, because that's where we're from. Mm-hmm. There's so much work involved. And I know it's a broad issue about what needs to be done to have an official unified scene. But hey, if anybody wants to, then we can meet up and talk about it. Hell, I'll be on the front line showing a lot of people how unity is done. Mm-hmm. But you can't have unity when you're shining each other wrong with bullshit. You can't have unity when you're kissing somebody's ass. Unification happens when you're real with the people you're supposed to be unified with. You know, ever since I've lived here, people have asked me how things are done, how to do things, how do I get my music here, man, I don't know. Get in the van and things start happening. That's all I can tell them. Yeah. Get in the van, things start happening. Work, write records, put yourself out there, do everything you can. A lot of my problem with the Tulsa scene is people who aren't serious about being out there are getting in the way of people who are. I couldn't believe how many touring bands were actually out of Tulsa, and none of them get the support that they need, and many of them deserve.
Yeah. I'm
upset about that. Now, in Wichita, Kansas, we don't have much, and we didn't have many bands out there touring the country. There was King Shifter, and before King Shifter, there was Deado, and there's some indie rock bands, maybe a couple of them, touring regularly. But we're unified. We supported that. Touring bands here in Tulsa definitely need that support. They're trying to go out there and get that work done.
Yeah.
They're trying to go out there and put their name on the map, Tulsa's name on the map. They want to do that. They want to write good music and get it out there to the people that love their music. A lot of bands that don't... It's cool to be the best band in Tulsa every weekend. It's great. If that's what you want to do, who the fuck am I to tell somebody how to enjoy music? Mm-hmm. But there are people in this scene trying to really do something important with what they're doing, and those are the people I want to spend the most time helping. Yeah. Those are the people I want to cast my jewels to, hey, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to do. I'm just not going to give you information because you're in a band and you think you're going to go somewhere. Man, I know who works and who doesn't. I'm not fucking blind. I'm not stupid either. I watch every last one of these people listening right now, every day. I know what you do. I know what you don't do. Okay? If you think I got a problem with you, I don't. But if you really want to be legit and serious, I'll holler at you. I'll tell you what's up, man. Yeah. It's tough. I sacrifice so much. So much. You got a girlfriend that won't let you go? Put down your guitar. Eat her pussy for the rest of her life. Let that guitar fucking collect dust. If that's how you want it. Family is important. Take care of that family, man. If you can't be out there the way that's respectable, man. That's genuine right there. If you're not really serious about it, stay the hell out of people's way. Mm-hmm. I've always had a problem with that. Yeah. I don't care what scene it is.
Well said.
But I love living here. I love the Tulsa scene. Mm-hmm. I'm not being a prick or sounding harsh right now because I hate the scene. I'm saying this shit because I love it.
Yeah.
Man, I come from a place that does not have a rich music culture. Y'all had everything from punk rock legends to Bob Wills in this town. And people mean to tell me they can't leave they can't leave behind what they're accustomed to learn something new. Mm-hmm. Maybe start something fresh,
Yeah.
Musically, scene-wise, even their philosophy. The language of the scene has to change too. Mm-hmm. There's just so much. Yeah. I thought about having a forum once, not long ago, just to see what people actually thought. And there's a lot of misillusion. I didn't need a forum for that. I just had to talk to people. But, I think it's cool that people want to have a unified scene, but I don't think people are ready for it. I don't think people are starving enough for it. I don't think people want to sacrifice for their art enough for it.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was playing out there was a Tulsa band coalition that got started, and we'd meet at a bar every Monday night, mm-hmm. and just it was like a damn union meeting. Everyone's talking about trying to, even back then, trying to get together and be unified and let's do this and do that. But it never really went anywhere. It was just, a bunch of drunk idiots by the end of the night. So I mean, and me being one of them, I'm not downing them because I was one of the ones bitching that didn't do anything. But I mean, it's just, I wish that cycle. I don't know. I was out of it for a while, so maybe it wasn't a cycle, but it kind of seems the same way. And I don't mean to talk too much.
No, you're good,
it's
man.
It's interesting hearing you say that because I'm like, that sounds like something we tried to do a long time ago,
I've never been a part of a musician's guild or whatever union per se.
Yeah.
I don't want my carcass being buried under Soldier Field or anything like that. But hey, Jimmy, wherever you are, much love, dog. Much love, Jimmy. But it's gonna go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Change always starts with self. What do you want to do with music? How are you going to get there? You can't get there by yourself. You need a whole cast of things behind you. You're going to need a whole bunch of luck. You're going to need a whole bunch of coincidence. You're going to need a whole bunch of stuff, but you have to be dedicated to it. You have to sacrifice for it.
Yeah.
And there's people that can and there's people that can't. The people that can't enjoy music the way you need to enjoy music. I'll still love and respect you and support you. But stay out of the way of the people really trying to go for broke. Somebody's probably going to listen to like, well, who the fuck is he? Well, I'm just a guy that's been in vans for the last, 15, 20 years being a road musician. I'm that motherfucker. Yes, I am. Okay. I'm that guy who's performed for crowds that hated him and loved him. I'm that guy who's performed for clowns and dogs and no bar mitzvahs, surprisingly. But yes, I've done enough to be like, okay, I don't have all the answers, but this sounds like a good start.
Yeah.
You got to start with yourself. I want to see Tulsa be something awesome. It's cool now. Mm-hmm. But it can be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could probably try to find a bar mitzvah somewhere you could play.
Yeah. I'll tear that bar mitzvah up too. What's some more? Yeah. Hey, if people, if anything, people want to be entertained. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's that. I'll tell you the story of that one shoegaze band that was actually entertaining. Seriously, there's a style of music that some kids like called shoegaze. It's very melodic, and they literally kind of just have this Thurston Moore haircut and just have this like hair hanging over their face looking at the shoes, right? So, dude was so drunk standing there. I didn't know it was like, I thought all shoegaze bands just kind of stood there and gazed at their shoes. No, this dude was so wasted he couldn't play right and he pissed on himself. And I thought to myself, now that's entertainment. That's entertainment. If you ain't gonna play a song, just piss yourself and let us laugh at you so you can go home.
It stuck with you because you're telling the story now.
Yes. Shoegaze, guys. It's the ultimate style and genre to disguise your drunkenness. Or if you're on heroin, you're nodding out.
Yeah.
It's all dissonant noise anyway. Just let the feedback ring. Take a nap. You'll be all good.
Nice.
So were the clowns and dogs at the same show?
Oh, man. The ponies as well, dude. Yeah, damn ponies. No, the scene will be okay once we learn how not to step on each other's toes. Mm-hmm. And it's easier than you think.
Yeah.
It really is. Sometimes a promoter has to call another promoter or whoever does what and be like, you know what? We're both running businesses or we're both doing whatever. This is what I got going on. This is who I got coming in. I know this is a larger town than from where I'm from, and everybody needs to make their money and have their business. But there has to be a little bit more cooperation from everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm all about people running their businesses and doing what they need to do. I have, no problem with that. But work with everybody else in a way to where you don't suffer. You know, there's nothing wrong with covering your own ass. You know, you're going to the North End, wear a fucking bulletproof vest. There's nothing fucking wrong with that, you know? I'm not mad at you. Shit. Chances are you probably didn't even need it, you know? You're alive, you know? But yeah, you know, you got to be tough on the things you care about the most sometimes. And I've lived here long enough to care about the scene. And that's why I'm just kind of looking around like, really? Mm-hmm. You know, I know this ain't going to be where I come from, but man, we can do this. Yeah. Let's just be real now.
Well, we talked before about heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, last time we had you on, but what about like this style of music you're doing now? Who are some of the guys that you grew up, like singer-songwriters? You mentioned country or just more mellow stuff that you kind of look to as an inspiration.
Man, you're gonna flip out on this. My biggest influences, have always been the 50s rock guys, like Chuck Berry, Little Richard. Good songwriting stripped down at its most simplest and most basic. Performance. I mean, wow. What can you say? Finding performers anymore is difficult. Yeah. But I really like the way Little Richard sounded. I really like the way Chuck Berry sounded. Fats Domino, his particular tone was very, it was very appealing to me. Because you saw this guy who didn't really look like much. He's in a suit and playing, but you heard the emotion from his voice. Mm-hmm. There's not enough emotion in the voice coming from heavy metal. And that's why I do so much singing. Yeah. Maybe if I thought maybe if I could, you know, not necessarily sing more, but connect more with people with human emotion with my vocals, then people will start getting it a little more. And there's nothing wrong with screaming your guts out, man. I love that stuff. Love that shit. I do it too, you know? But there's some things that are a little bit scarier said calmly.
Yep.
I'm an expert at this. There's ways to articulate things. Like I said earlier, I wrote a song. I wanted a love song to sound like a funeral. And it worked. I mean, every bit of it worked. But those guys, and even growing up, I grew up in a household where we listened to Luther Vandross. My mama loved Luther, loved the shit out of Luther. Little and big Luther. I mean, she's just, I heard so much Luther Vandross. A lot of Motown Temptations. Mm-hmm. A lot of Stax Records. Isaac Hayes. Otis Redding, he's one of my personal favorites. I like Erykah Badu a lot. Mm-hmm. Oh, a whole lot. I'm a big, once again, I'm a big jazz nut. And I've always been into Billie Holiday. Yeah. And Erykah Badu is as close to Billie Holiday as we're going to have in the 21st century. Yeah. Plus, that music is just smoking. Yeah. Like, tons of grooves. This is probably the first time we're talking about, like, R&B and some weird stuff on this podcast, but I guess that's where I come from, you know? Yeah. There's a lot of Gerald Levert and stuff like that. Isley Brothers, love them. There are reasons artists and groups like that are mainstays. It's the groove they create with their music and the emotion they create with their voices. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps them relevant. Yeah. And we're losing a lot of that. I can't blame auto-tune for that. You can still hear what there was this song there for a while, for whatever reason, this Lil Wayne CD kept playing in the truck I was driving at the time. And there was a song in auto-tune, and he was really tired of, quote unquote, these bitch ass bitches. I felt that motherfucker, man. I was like, this is auto-tune. This dude sounds like he's puking auto-tune rainbows, but man, I feel this. Still feel it. You know, like, fuck, man. You know. But it just doesn't matter. However you can articulate the human emotion and get people to really relate to who you are. Yeah. Because really, we're all connected. You can I probably have something in common with the guy that covers himself with trash bags and hiding fucking porta potties, you know? You never know, man.
Hey, the one guy they caught didn't even cover himself in the trash bag.
Right, he was gross. But that's where we differ. I would have been covered up with the trash bag. I woke up one morning, I was drinking coffee, watching the news before work. I was like, holy shit, for real?
Yeah,
oh,
there's some sick fuckers out there.
That's gross, man.
Oh, man.
I can't believe they even took him to the jail. Like, man, you gotta stand out here.
Yeah.
Don't run or we'll tase you, but just stand here until you dry off or something. Like, gross.
Well, I got a question that just came up a little bit ago in my head. There was a picture on your Facebook or Screaming Red Mutiny. I can't remember. You were hanging from the rafters of, I think it was Billionaires.
Uh-huh.
Have you fell? Have you had any accidents before? How often do you do that?
Well,
what prompted you to do that?
The rafters that started years ago. I've always been a physical performer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ever since I was younger. I've always been the guy trying to test his surroundings like a cage. Anymore these days, I'm getting a little too old for a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I can. But the rafters thing, it started in Wichita at a place called JC's House of Rock, but most people remember it as Rock Island. Mm-hmm. A lot of cool stuff happened in that building. And so the rafters in that place were within reach. So I just started swinging off them casually and whatever. Started hanging upside down from them, or doing crazy stuff. I felt like a kid on monkey bars. It's just a celebration and jubilee of being a musician and doing what you're doing. Some people jump off the drummer's kick drum. Some drummers don't like that. But sometimes everybody has their thing. CJ McClellan, he has this freaking awesome rock and roll kick he does,
he has
man.
The kick, yeah. We always give him crap.
He does it. I've never given him crap because I like all things corny and rock and roll. I mean, you keep that shit up, bro.
No, I know I can't do it. So hey,
you know what? I should start kicking. I know I'd be safe not falling from the rafters. CJ is gonna make it without a broken neck. I don't know about me, man. If I keep swinging off the rafters, I should go to kicking.
I dig it.
But there was times back in the day when I was younger, if the stack was high enough and I could climb it, I'd climb that thing and jump off. Sometimes they catch me, sometimes they won't. But that was the life back then.
Yeah.
Wichita was a very physical, metal town back in those days. Really physical. So that's where I got my my physicality from. You had to compete with that. They were pushing it, man. They were pushing it in Wichita, Kansas back in the day, dude. They were.
Hell yeah.
Is it still a good place for heavy music?
Well, yes. We've gotten older. The crowd, the scene I came up with, we've gotten older, and many of us are still doing it. You've got Gulch, and you've got Odds Against. They've been at it now for probably 5 or 6 years, maybe 6, 7 years. They're about to put out another record, so those cats are still doing it. But then there's guys that were in bands at the time. They're not in those bands anymore, but they're still playing.
Yeah.
And so the youngsters in that town, they don't want to be seen anywhere near the old school cats, and that's fine, It's not that they don't like us, it's the generation gap. I remember us youngsters trying to get with the older cats because they know what was up. Kids today, they're too good for that.
Wow.
Which is okay, which is all right. They're doing their own thing. I'm an old fogey now, according to them. And I'm okay with that. I've had my fun, man. Let them go out there and tear it up for a while. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't hate on that. I was a kid doing what I wanted to do, man. Y'all tear it up, man. I swear these kids are so talented and so energetic these days, man. Yeah. I look at it in the utmost optimism.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids are doing good.
Yeah, that's a good thing for sure. For sure.
I know some of these older cats, I'll met over the years. These kids are ruining everything. Nah, they outplaying you, bro. I was like, these kids are wow.
Yeah, they are. Exactly.
Where's your favorite place to get tacos in Tulsa?
El Refugio Azteca.
Okay. That's me too. Yeah.
It's on 21st Street. Yes. They have a series of trucks, usually on Garnett.
I usually go on 41st or the store.
Yeah, I go to the store all the time. It's the best place to get $1.75 fish tacos. Fish and shrimp tacos every day for $1.75. Most places have most Mexican restaurants that have like fish tacos on a plate. There are 2 fish tacos, rice. It sucks. Some of them don't even have beans with the rice.
But you're $10 or something.
Right, $8 to $10 for a couple of fish tacos. Like, man, I'd rather bring a 20 in this motherfucker. Go to town on some fish tacos. And their flan is to die for, man. Their flan is awesome. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, save room for dessert, man. If you like custard, that's the bomb right there, man. That's what you want.
Hell yeah.
I was going to say earlier, Trent hates the Jets.
I'm indifferent towards the Jets. Don't bring me into this.
Hey, I just had to fuck with you.
Man, I've been hating the Jets lately. Man, okay.
I want to tell you something.
Go ahead.
Before last season.
There's a Jets flag in here, guys. I'm just letting you know. In my studio, there's a Jets flag.
Before last season, I was really hoping that the Broncos would sign Fitzpatrick. Whenever he hadn't re-signed with the Jets. And then, he was wanting too much money, and then eventually he signed with the Jets. And halfway through that season, I think I messaged you and said, man, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah, you did. I was like, oh, man, how are we going to get one season like that out of him? I'm like, damn it. He was the Magic Shamrock, dude. He was the real Red Rifle that year, boy. Yeah, he tore it up, man. But then he stunk it up the next year. Brandon Marshall couldn't catch a pass. You see Brandon Marshall on Sunday? I didn't. He caught one pass at the end of the game.
Was that... Oh, he plays for the Giants now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was not good for me, but
I didn't watch that game, but
I don't hate the Cowboys, but I was really hoping the Giants would win.
Same here. That's my team.
Oh, you're a Giants fan? Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
That's right, it is football season, huh? Yeah, we're talking about football now.
We'll talk about some upcoming gigs. What gigs you guys got coming up?
We are playing a benefit for Sister Wheezy Williams in Kansas City, Kansas. Mm-hmm. She's got cancer, and so we're going to go up there and do a benefit for her October 6th, Friday, October 6th at Aftershock, Merriam, Kansas City, Kansas area. So show up. Wade Jennings will be there, grandson of Waylon. Man, I wish I had the flyer in front of me. There's another band, Brody from 383, the former drummer of 383. I forgot what his new band was called, but they'll be there. Mm-hmm. I'll post some flyers on Facebook here. You'll probably put this out on Monday. So yeah, Monday. you can go to our band page, Screaming Red Mutiny, and find it. And I have an acoustic gig October 20th, I believe. And it's at the All-America Grill in Pryor, Oklahoma. And I'll be playing there for a couple hours, doing some acoustic originals. Come on out there. The steak is excellent. The calamari is fantastic. And then Mai Tais are cold and refreshing. So come on out. Have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
You think on these acoustic gigs you might do any Screaming Red Mutiny or King Shifter? Like...
I don't know.
Have you thought about that, rearranging some stuff?
Lately, there's been people asking me if I would ever play some King Shifter tunes, and I usually tell them it's probably unlikely that I would do that. There are some songs I would love to play live from King Shifter, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I like where King Shifter is, man. We kicked so much ass in a short amount of time. And, you know, the music still stands. I love that music. I loved my time there. It was, it was life-changing. It really was. You know, that was as far as I ever got in the business in most aspects at that point. So I'm just really happy with where the legacy actually is. Gotcha. Bands end and bands put things down for whatever reason, but really the ultimate testament of the band is the music.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's gonna give a shit about anything else really. What's more important? I'm more happy that the music still stands and that the people I made the music with, they were a part of that, and they deserve just as much credit as anybody else who was involved. And so that's good for me, man. That's good for everybody. You know, I haven't spoken to Kink that much. I believe the last time I talked to him was, I think when John died. I think it was the last time he sent me a message, and I haven't heard from Derek at all since I left the band, and I haven't heard from David either. But Dwayne, I still hear from him from time to time. He was the original drummer. I hear from him from time to time.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad that we had a couple of good bodies of work, man, and it was some smoking tunes, dude.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh man, it's no big deal, man. I love talking to you guys. You guys do great work. It's guys like you that help keep scenes together.
We're trying.
You know, I know that's not your like intentional mission. Nobody wakes up one morning, you know what, I'm gonna single-handedly save the Tulsa music scene. But no, man, you do what you can do, and you know, if you have interest in it and you have love for it, there's a place for you.
Yeah.
You know, you may not be a musician. You may just like talking about it and being around and wanting to know different things. And that's why folks like yourselves do this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's very necessary. We're definitely needing some more photographers out there. You know,
this guy right here.
We definitely need more photographers. I've been photographed a lot. But the BJ, I don't know where she lives, but I see her taking pictures at the Cotillion Ballroom all the time in Wichita a few years back. She always took excellent pictures. Richard Gorman takes excellent pictures.
Yeah.
Jimmy. Oh, man. Jimmy Fusen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it? Man, it's like Mugen Entertainment.
Yeah.
Or did I say his last name right? Fusen?
That's how I've always thought it was. I don't know.
That's how I've heard it.
All right, Jimmy Fusen, Fussin'. Please don't beat me up. I'm just trying to get your name right, man. I'm just trying to get your name right. I got mad love for you. He's a talented photographer. He's photographed me many times, man. We need record keepers like that.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. Well, Trent needs to go do it then. He's got all the stuff for it.
We'll see. You know, there's so much anybody can do, man. What's all this Tulsa Music Award stuff
That's
going on?
That's what we were talking about before we came over.
I saw it today, and the boss at my record label, he's like, he's got a hand in it, and I'm like, well, right on. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't have any expectations out of it.
Yeah.
I got messages already as soon as Sprout, what do you think? I was like, I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
First off, I wouldn't call Screaming Red Mutiny totally metal, but hey, if that's what somebody wants to call it, that's great.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I haven't even like I told him earlier, I haven't even looked at a complete list. When I get home tonight, I'm going to check it all out.
Well, the only thing...
I just kind of skimmed over it, you know?
Right now, it's just the nomination.
It's just the categories.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't bother me that we're called metal, because there's plenty of metal, you know, Screaming Red Mutiny, plenty of it. Vocally, it just does not take it full blown. I think that's the one thing that really separates Seven Dust from a lot of bands.
Yeah.
I think that separates Breaking Benjamin from a lot of people. Compare Screaming Red Mutiny to Breaking Benjamin, And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I'm like, how?
They're a little more diverse.
You guys are great. Them, not so much.
You know?
I said it.
I don't believe I've ever listened to a Breaking Benjamin record.
I try not to.
I've heard some stuff, in passing. If you have to ride in somebody's car and they actually listen to the radio,
Right.
you're screaming, "Do you have a CD?" Oh, all right. Luke Bryan will work. Woo! At least it ain't Breaking Benjamin.
But kind of like what you said a minute ago is I'm kind of the same way. It's like I love metal, but when it gets too much to where you can't understand the vocals, or where maybe that's just my age. But I get about Hatebreed and Lamb of God. That's about my
I listen.
limit.
I listen to. This is funny. I listen to deathcore. Actually,
Yeah.
There's good deathcore and there's some really shitty deathcore. All right. I hate genres and subgenres, but I like them too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Nails. Why? 'Cause I've always been a power violence guy. Like, somebody's like, what's power violence? So I'm like, well, it's probably the stuff you don't want your children listening to.
Yeah,
you
no
know?
shit. That's such a great record, though. It's like all the songs are like a
Oh,
minute
yes,
long. And it's
yes. Yes.
and you can kind of still understand what he's saying, and it's just brutal.
There's this band I like called Antichrist Demon Corps, ACXDC. That's what they're called. They're out of California, dude, and all them songs are like, they're all about hating Jesus, hating the police. I think there's a song about disliking vitamin D milk. There's like, they pick up where Anal Cunt left off, but they're hella more serious. Like, you can listen to Anal Cunt and not take them seriously. I mean, they were still worth their brass. A lot of people didn't think so, but I dug them because I like that shit.
Yeah.
But man, the deathcore that's out, the bands I do like, I love Oceano.
Yeah.
Oh, Oceano is sick. Once Upon a Burning Body or Thy Art Is Murder, I'm not really into that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do like this band called Code Orange a lot.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah. Everyone's liking them right now. Yeah.
Weekend Nachos, they broke up, but I like them too. Weekend Nachos is dope,
That's the greatest fucking band name in the world.
Yes. Check them out. Weekend Nachos. They broke up.
Weekend Nachos.
I wouldn't call them metalcore. They're more. There's this interesting group of hardcore hybrid. Like, there's stuff that's got an obvious New York style hardcore, root to them.
Yeah.
But man, there's just added element of thrash and death even in some of it. That's what kind of Code Orange reminds me of.
Have you heard Child Bite?
I love that stuff.
Yeah, they're fucking great.
Totally out left field, but
the new. You want to hear something that's out of left field for me, and this has shocked the hell out of me. It's the newest Living Colour record.
I just listened to that.
I listened to it.
I couldn't stop listening to it like 3 times in a row the other day.
Yeah,
it's good, but there was. Did they throw in some dubstep somewhere? There was some stuff that
There was a lot of electronic.
Yes, I'm like, what?
Just kind of sprinkled throughout. And there was a couple songs where he's like, I'm like, is that him rapping or is that someone else rapping?
I was like, I've never heard him sell so hard.
Well, I know that on Who Shot Ya, there's somebody else rapping on that, right?
Yes. Okay. Who is that? I read the credits. Oh, it'll come back. Yeah.
But I mean, I've gotten lucky enough to see them twice live. It's one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
They don't come through the Midwest that often.
Yeah, I saw them. They played Rocklahoma 2008, and then we saw them at Riot Fest a few years ago in Chicago. Freaking insane! And I love their debut album. That's like a Bible. Everybody loves that album. Yeah. And all their other stuff has been like, yeah, that one's cool. I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, this one's cool. But this new one is fucking great. I really liked it. The only part of the newest record, which is called Shade, go get it. It's awesome. It is.
But great. If you're a long time if you're a longtime fan of Living Color, you're going to notice some things that's just kind of out of character for it, which is the electronics.
Yeah.
Now, I like electronics. I think a lot of that's cool. It's just different to hear that out of a band that never really did that too much in the last 35 years. You know, it was different. It was like, you could listen to, let's say Tom Kiefer got Cinderella back together and all of a sudden they start throwing some electronics in there and stuff. It'd be like,
What?
Didn't I sign up to hear night songs? What? Like, come on. What is this? I don't have glow sticks for this shit, man. What's going on? But no, that new record is good. It's just maybe the electronic stuff in the record will grow on me a little more. So I've listened to it about as many times as you probably guys have.
Yeah.
I first got a chance to listen to it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And it came out, last week?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that first time I heard this Come On was the first song they put out. Mm-hmm. Like, when it gets to the guitar solo and it's, like, skipping or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's the first thing that, like, jumped out at me as being weird. Now, that's one thing, but then, yeah, like you said, there's 4 or 5 other songs where there's way more than that, you know?
Oh, man.
I mean, you can't go wrong with listening to any Living Color record, but if you paid attention over the years and listened to all the records like I have, then you're going to notice this one being very different from anything else they've done. There's still those elements that definitely make Living Color.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be gold, platinum. That's always going to be awesome. But if you can get over the differences, it's still just as good a record as any of their other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm still a big Time's Up fan.
That was a great one. I really like that.
I mean, Love Rears Its Ugly Head. Yeah. Like, holy cow, that thing was awesome.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and watching the Grammys that year, and I think they won Best Hard Rock Performance for that record or something like that. Man, I was like, I think I was 10, 11 at the time. And I'd never seen, black rockers win awards on TV. So I was like, Granny, yeah, baby, can we go get Living Color's Time's Up? She took one look at them brothers like, no. What, because they eating suits? What? Yeah. Corey Glover rocked that body glove, man. Yeah. He rocked it, man, dude.
Yeah, the body glove.
If I had dreadlocks, I'd be Corey Glover for Halloween. Well, I'd just go get some weave.
Yeah.
If I had longer dreadlocks, we just go buy some weave.
Get a body glove.
Get a body glove like surfing outfit.
That's right. That's awesome. Now I'm gonna get a body glove. Just kidding. Well, thanks, man. This has been awesome.
Man, it's been awesome. It's always awesome talking to you guys. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
We love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Thunder Underground, y'all.
Got it again. Now turn this off so we can start talking shit about everybody.
There you go, Sprout from Screaming Red Mutiny. Very glad to have him back on the podcast. It's been a long time coming. The last episode was 48, and that's, 92 episodes ago.
So we were due.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's number 3. Like I said earlier, go back, check out episode 48. That also included Tony from Screaming Red Mutiny, as well as Mike Starkey and John Halata. So go back and check that out. It's a really cool interview. And then way back, episode 17, Sprout talked about everything that was going on at King Shifter and what he had going on at that point.
Yeah.
But if, like we said earlier, if you're a fan, you know what this guy can do with Screaming Red Mutiny, what he did with King Shifter. You're going to be really excited to hear this stuff that he's working on, where it's laid back and more mellow. It's just a cool new side to hear of Sprout that he's been working on. Like you said, he's doing it all himself. He's got a studio in the house there, and he's kicking ass.
Yeah, he's doing it all.
Yeah. Screaming Red Mutiny's got new music coming here in the next few months as well, so be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, be on the lookout for more episodes from us. But also go backwards, right? We tell you this every time. If this is your first time listening, if you're listening on 102.7 WSNR, we appreciate it. These stream every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. But you can also go back and hear any previous episode at any time. A lot of them are on YouTube at The Thunder Underground. And then you can find us on SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Streamable anytime. 139 previous episodes. We have a bunch where we just talk about, new music and stuff going on. Then we, of course, have interviews with tons of people, range from Seven Dust, Death Angel, The Sword, King, Super Joint, Great White, Battlecross, Kiss. That should always be the first thing I say.
I know. Why didn't you start with that?
I try not to toot our own horn. Kiss twice. How about that?
Yeah.
Because I can say twice because Bruce Kulick was in Kiss for a long time.
That's right.
And then, of course, what am I forgetting? We've had...
Oh, man. I
Saving Abel.
Yeah, I mean...
Shinedown.
I'd rail them all off, but I would probably repeat a lot of the shit you just said.
Yeah. Had a lot of the glam guys from Firehouse, Warrant, Lillian Axe, Bullet Boys, Trickster. I said Great White already. Europe. And then we've had...
Pool.
Yeah.
Soil.
Yeah.
Wino.
Oh, yeah.
From The Obsessed.
Speaking of that.
Oh, man.
This tour that just got announced.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, this tour just got announced for, I think it's November, December. And it's Clutch's continuation of this never-ending Earth Rocker tour. And
Psychic Warfare.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Psychic Warfare. That'd be really never-ending if it's Earth Rocker.
No shit.
So, of course, they're headlining, but they always bring interesting openers, but this time's a little bit even more interesting because we've got The Obsessed, which is classic doom, stoner, whatever you want to call it, at its finest. It's like one of the originators of it with Wino. And then the Devin Townsend Project. Which
is just, I don't know, that guy's a genre all of himself.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of bills I like to see, just kind of real eclectic, but at the same time you're like, oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I hope that Devin Townsend doesn't shit in anyone's guitar case this time.
Right.
I doubt that'll happen. So, I mean, it's kind of maybe worth driving for.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a bill I'd really like to check out, that's for sure.
Yeah, the closest it's getting to us here in Oklahoma is Springfield, Missouri, which from Tulsa is only about a 3-hour drive. I guess if you're in Oklahoma City or further west, it's going to be 4 or 5 hours. But it's still, like you said, it's worth the drive because, I don't know, Devin Townsend Project's never been around here. And he's had tons of different projects throughout the years, but this has been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
And then Obsessed, we've never got a chance to see them. We saw Wino with Spirit Caravan.
Yeah.
But...
So, I mean, we might have to check this one out. This might have to happen.
Yeah, November in Springfield. I don't remember the exact date. Or maybe it's early December, actually.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. Which Alter Bridge is coming to Canes in early December as well.
That's insane.
But we're getting way ahead of ourselves now.
Yeah. People might have already turned this off by now. I don't know.
Right.
I hope not.
Nah.
But you never know.
Right.
Okay.
Once again, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1027WSNR.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TheThunderUnderground.com, SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Thanks again to Sprout. Thanks again for listening. And until next time.
There's 2 mice on the corner there, and this bitch there is just surprised as fuck. Or these 2 dudes are laughing at the cat being mad at the dog. It's just...
I don't know why I thought that was a dog for some reason.
We're so used to seeing dogs play poker.
Yeah.
Thunder Underground, y'all.